Hey guys, it's Sandra from Inspired Keys, and in today's video I'm going to share one very big tip on how to play with less distraction, and that is to pay attention to your topmost note. And a lot of people seem to be playing with a lot of movement. Well, here's the trick: you can have a lot of movement and play less distractingly. So the difference is in whether you're moving a lot on your top notes or your inner notes. So let's just talk about an example. Let's say it is in the key of C major, and we have the four very common chords, which will be chord 1, 6 minor, 4, and 5. And to make it very easy, we're just going to use the key of C major, and so it's C major, A minor, F, and G. So the topmost note is what we hear, and it becomes like a melody, even though it's sort of unsaid. Nobody really plans it that way, but we just naturally hear it. So if I were to play the opening chords to This Is My Desire, and I play it this way, right? So what happens is that actually there is a tune, and the tune goes like this, dun, 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 which in my opinion isn't exactly the most wonderful tune. So you want to really pay attention to what you play on the topmost notes. So some people are like, okay, well, let's make something different on the topmost notes, and then they end up playing this. So that also becomes quite a bit of a melody, right? Da, 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 whatever it was. And I think that's altogether really distracting. So here's a solution. Try to keep the topmost note as still or as with little movement as possible. You want to create less busyness, but we're talking about just the topmost note. So here's an example using the everlasting 1 and 5. So if you don't know about what my everlasting 1 and 5 theory, or rather my everlasting 1 and 5, how should I call it? I'm just going to call it the everlasting 1 and 5. Okay. So if you use the everlasting 1 and 5, it really helps sometimes because you just know which notes to sustain on the top. So 1 in this case will be C, 5 in this case will be G. So let's So in this case, I kept the C here really still. It just kept staying at the top line. There's movement at the bottom and the middle parts, but my top note stays the same. So let's try it on the 5. So the overall sound of the G is still the same. So sticking to a 1 or a 5 on the top note is a very safe thing to do. You can also move, but I will say move as little as possible. So maybe so I'm kind of moving primarily by steps or small skips. But if you move a lot, like it just becomes really distracting. Sometimes holding on to a 2 might also sound really nice. It has this very open, contemporary, modern sound. So maybe right? So that's also quite nice. So the tip is to stay very still on your top line. Try not to play anything with too much movement. If you want to, you can also sort of create a riff, but you do want to stick to it. So like all the examples, the bad examples I gave earlier have different patterns, like right? This one's just all over the place. It's low, it's high, it just has chords outlined, and then it also has some passing notes. If you want to create like an idea for an introduction, that's totally possible, but you want to stick to the same pattern. So like maybe, like that's okay, but stick to it. Maybe a little bit of deviation's okay. Right? And then stick to the riff. And maybe you even want to play that riff in the opening of the song. This is my desire. So that it sort of continues as an idea from the introduction into the riff, into the verse. So yeah, just some ideas that you can play around with and principles to stick by. Keep your top line as with as little busyness, as little movement as possible. If you found this video helpful, do help this video to rank better on YouTube by liking, subscribing to the channel, the Inspired Keyboardist channel, as well as to share it on social media or with your friends by word of mouth. Also, leave a comment below to let me know what else you'd like me to share about on the Inspired Keyboardist YouTube channel. If you want to fast track your worship keys playing, then the Inspired Keys Academy is for you. The Inspired Keys Academy is a membership site with lots of teaching videos that you can watch at your own time. So you can get step-by-step guidance. And you can even ask your own worship keys questions or upload a video of yourself playing to get critique. So if you want to find out more about the Inspired Keys Academy, be sure to check out inspiredkeys.com/join, and I can help you become a better worship keys player. Thanks so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Happy playing and God bless.